What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So it's Star Trek night. That means we gotta check out the latest episode of Discovery. And the Butcher's Knife That Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. It's a long-ass title name. But it's very old school. It's very old school Star Trek. And I kind of like that. And it suits well to the actual episode that happened, being the whole Spore Beast, thing and all. It was a very messy episode. I felt like there were lots of plots going on, and they would jump, they'd have stuff going on in the Discovery, then they'd jump to the Klingons, and the Klingons did their things, and they'd jump back. And it was just very messy, where I felt like they could have cleaned some stuff up and actually, gone in depth with some, actually focus in on a storyline for a little bit longer, to sort of develop things a little more, other than just saying, oh yes, I immediately know this and this is the way it's going to be. And I'm more talking about Michael, with knowing that this Spore Beast that's killed everything that it's ever seen, that I've ever seen it do, she just knows that it's not aggressive. Like, I just don't, I thought like that was a little bit like a big assumption. And they could have, like, if they had more time where they weren't spreading it out through lots of little stories, they might have been able to, really get into that part a little bit more. So we'll jump right in on the whole Spore Beast thing. So I was shocked that the captain I thought this was going to be a little secret that Lorca had. I thought this was like his little pet project that he was going to have on the ship and, keep it a secret from everyone. He straight up just shows Michael. This is the job that he specifically brought her to do, was I'm going to give you stuff that I need you to make weapons out of. And first up is this big Spore Beast thing. You're going to see how it rips through armor. You're going to see how it killed like dozens of Klingons without even being killed. And, what's its hide made of? What's its claws? All this stuff. Find out how I can make this into a weapon. And again, I feel like this is leading into the dark part of, Starfleet history, where they did some stuff that they're not too, they would not want to be reminiscing about this stuff. This is stuff that will be hidden away in the archives and all that. These people that have been put into power that, have to find these weapons and ways to beat the Klingons by any means necessary. And completely going against, what Starfleet is, which is exploring, diplomacy, discover, all this stuff. That's what they're built on. And this is where this is kind of where they're going. And like I said, the original series will become like the return to what they should be. I think this is where they're going with it. Even the captain says this. He's like, we're the spear of the fleet, but I've got a ship full of explorers, not soldiers. This is kind of where it's going. He's very much a military man. He's a military captain. He's not into this whole Discovery stuff. He ain't into that. He wants weapons. He wants the best ship that can jump into an area, kill a whole bunch of Klingons, and jump back out again. Like, this is what he wants. But the crew is not built for that. There are a whole bunch of scientists and explorers and all that. So this is where it's all feeding into here. But yeah, I was shocked he just straight up showed Michael the Spore Beast. And then I was interesting how Michael just instantly recognized, like, oh yeah, no, this thing's not aggressive in any way. Like, I think it's just acting out of self-defense. And I felt like it was a quick assumption to make. Like, this thing just chased you through the Glen, and it just, killed a whole bunch of people, and you just like, oh no, it's cool. It's chill. It's fine. So I thought that was a bit of a jump. But I think they needed to do that because they had so much stuff going on in this episode that they had no time to explore, Michael maybe coming around on this beast, like seeing things, when she's observing it. I think it would have explained it a little bit better. Now, my God, fucking Landry. So the security officer, the head of security, that if you all don't know, God, my God, was she annoying in this episode. And I'm kind of glad she's dead. I really am, because the way she died, is so fucking stupid. Like, you deserve to, because the way you were acting, the way that they set her up, and the way they, she's like, no, we need to make weapons. You need to figure out how this thing kills and all the rest of it. Like, we got to do all this and stuff. And like, Michael's saying like, no, this thing is not aggressive. You can't do this. We have to investigate and discover what this unidentified creature that, what it is. And like, oh no, clearly your curiosity has gone too far. We need to get back on track. Lorca wants a weapon. Like, you're not a fucking military. You're Starfleet. Do Starfleet stuff, which is investigate. Learn what this damn, creature is. What's the first thing that every freaking thing in Next Generation, whenever they discovered a new creature or new anything in space, what was the first thing they always did? They tried to talk to it. They tried to figure out its way of communication. They tried to figure out a way to interact with the creature. That was what Michael was doing, but freaking Landry's like, no. We gotta like stab it or make it, do things like shock it and all the rest of it. And then when it came down to it, she's like, oh no, I'm just going to put it to sleep and then cut off a claw. And you're going to figure out how this thing can cut through shield, bloody steel plating and all the rest of it. And stupid her, because clearly she always thinks with her gun and not with her freaking head, assumes that the damn thing's been put to sleep. And the damn thing just jumps her and kills her. Mauls her to death. I was like, good. Go away. I don't like you. You're a stupid character. I don't like you at all. You're lame, and just like, you're just this freaking soldier, and you're an idiot. And so you died a stupid way. Bye-bye. I'm not worried. She was a bad character. I didn't like her. So, yeah, I was happy she was gone. I was hoping the damn beast would maul her to death. And it happened. I was like, yes, thank you, Spore Beast. You're awesome. The Spore Beast was more interesting than her. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad with that. Bye. But it was stupid. And the way they set her up, and the way that they put both Michael and her together, and the way they interacted with each other, like, there wasn't any debate with this. There wasn't any debate. There wasn't like, there was a more, militaristic mind versus a more scientific mind, debating between each other of like what this Spore Beast is and how that we should use it. It was, no, you got to make a weapon out of this. I don't give a crap what you think. Oh, you're not going to do this? Oh, well, I'm going to do this stupid thing and get my ass killed. So, I'm glad that she's gone. She was a stupid character. Then we get into the whole, spore, jump thing, So, there's a mining colony that's under attack by the Klingons, and there's like 40% of Starfleet's dilithium is mined from this place. So we gotta go save it. And there's the blockade fleet was completely wiped out. Okay, so clearly you're seeing that Starfleet is not up to speed on like, being at war with the Klingons. Like, the Klingons are just better at it. So now they got to use the Discovery, because the Discovery is the only ship that can get there fast enough. And of course, like, the Lorca's like, oh yeah, we can get there, no problem. Like I said when you needed us, we'd be there, and we're here, And he's like fighting with Stamets, like, yo, we got to get this thing jumping, and like, Stamets is, no, we're not there yet. Are you freaking kidding me? We can barely jump small distances, let alone larger ones. And that kind of sets off this sort of, investigation thing where, the tech that was on the Glen, like, they're wondering, what the heck is this thing? What does it have to do with, the spore jumps and all that? And, they set it up like the Glen had it, and they still can't figure it out. And apparently the big problem with it is the navigational thing. Like, once they start to jump long distances, the navigational stability is gone, and they can't, wherever they're trying to go to, they end up in a completely different place. In the first place they end up is like right next to a sun. And luckily they can pull away and all that. So, I don't know. I thought the engines might struggle there. But, no, they just let them get away with that one. But, I did like the whole, they showed the scene of, like, how the Discovery does this, like, spore jump. and like the saucer spins, and it looks very cool. Like I like the look of the how they used the Discovery to jump, and the way the saucer moves and all that. And I liked it. But my God, when they jumped and the captain said to literally to go, I was like, are you serious? The only word that you can come up with on this, like, they build up this epic scene of, this epic moment of like, okay, black alert, and we're going to do this, and the spore drive builds up and all the rest of it. And the only word he says is go. I was like, really? Go. That's what you're going to use there? Not engage? Like, it would have been cool because you could have had like this Picard moment where you build it up and it's all this big thing, and then go, engage, and then it would go whoosh. That would have been cool. But no, he's like, go. I don't know. It was something really small, but kind of irked me a little bit. I was like, man, you missed a big opportunity there. A big opportunity. And they kept using go. I was like, no, please don't. No, this is not cool. This is not cool. Please. There's this funny word called engage that, sounds a heck of a lot cooler. But no. And yeah, so that kind of sets off them all off on, clearly we're missing something here. And then, of course, Michael's the only one who figures out that this spore beast is reacted to these spores when the spore drive activated the first time, and she brings the spore beast like the spores to see like how it interacted with it, and it's kind of sets her off on the idea that this beast actually communicates with these spores and uses them in ways. And they figured out that the Glen figured that out too and used it as a navigator for the ship. And, they set it off into this like fungal forest, that they have down there, and, it's interacting with it. And of course, Stamets is like enamored with this thing. And that basically gets them to the point where they can do the spore jump successfully. And they get the spore beast in the like cubicle, and they go. And you see the benefits of this spore drive, right? Like they get to this mining colony just in time, just as the shields fail, and they jump right in. Boom, they're there. Take out 2 Klingon ships right away. Didn't even know it. They couldn't even know they were there. And then the captain kind of draws all these Klingon ships in, and like they're not even shooting. They're just bringing the ships closer and closer. And they jump back out again and leave all these bombs, and boom. I would have liked a bit of a battle there. Like, come on. Like, you were just simulating, the crew getting into battle, like shooting and all the rest of it. Like, let's go. Do this stuff. Like, show the Discovery fighting. Let's go. But no, they just had it sitting there. And then they jumped out again, and they have the bombs there, and the Klingon ships all blew up. I don't know. I think they want to keep this whole, mystery around the Discovery. So, like, normal people don't know about it. So it's like this Black Ops ship that no one knows about. So we can't let the colony people see the ship and all that. So, and even the little girl at the end goes, I wonder who saved us. That sort of thing. But I would have loved to have seen the Discovery actually in battle and going and fighting these Klingon ships and stuff. That would have been cool. But as they're going, they see that the ship, that the jumps actually hurt the beast, the spore beast. And they're like, these machine things like stab it in its chest and like sort of make it do what it wants it to do. And like, of course, Michael sees that, and she's completely, you can tell she's gonna go to the captain and go, we can't do this. Like, this is hurting this innocent creature. We can't do that. And of course, the captains go, heck no. That is now a tool that we will use, and now we can defeat the Klingons, and we will be the spear, and all the rest of it. Like, that's what's gonna happen. And I'd say, she'll have to like break it out, and I can see it all happening now. But yeah. That was really the main plot. That was the main storyline. But then you had like other stuff, her, getting Captain Giorgio's Last Will and Testament, effects from, Starfleet sent them to Michael, and then you had the Klingon stuff too, with Vok, and I gotta say with the Klingon stuff, and for me, in Next Generation, which is my favorite, the Klingon episodes were my favorite, right? I love them. The Worf episodes were always my favorite. But the Klingon episodes, like the Klingon parts now, they're very slow. They're very slow. And it has to do with them speaking Klingon. And I like that. That's cool because it's more authentic and it's, really, using this language that was developed, over a lot of years. I'm glad they're doing it. But it slows the pace of the episode way down. Way down. And it takes a while for them to say what they're saying and get their points across, and I don't know. I think they needed some fight scenes in there, maybe just to speed it back up a little bit, give it a little bit of energy. I gotta say though, I love the look. I don't like the look of the actual Klingons, but I love the look of the armor, and I love the look of the exosuits, like their EVA suits and stuff. Look awesome. They look like Predator things, and the way they sort of shrink back into these necklaces that they have on and stuff looks really awesome. I love the look of them. So the whole Vok thing is basically they're trying to get Takuvma's ship going again, and that's still stuck at the binaries, where they were fighting, the Shenzhou, and they've basically been stuck there for 6 months, and they're running out of food, and people are like, look, we need, we got to get this ship going, and they're wondering if Vox should be in charge and all that. And then we also got introduced to Lorel, which is sort of like his second in command. And she's quite interesting. I think she's gonna be kind of like this, assassin, sort of. Yeah, she's one of her houses, but I think her mother's house is known for lies and all the rest of it. So she's. I like it. I like her quite a lot, and you can see the tension between the two of them. They do a little bit of Klingon flirting when they're on the Shenzhou getting the dilithium processor. So they're definitely setting that up, and Lorel kind of believes in what Vok's doing, and trusts Takuvma, and he named him his successor, and he thought, Vok kind of thinks that Lorel should have been the successor because, she's been with Takuma for a long time. And, she's like, no, I don't want to be the leader. I want to be in behind you so I can be whatever I need to be for you. That I can sort of work in the shadows in any way I need. And she's definitely, she's not like typical Klingons that just go out there and just fight. They think with their fists, and that's what they do. They're very, they're very predictable in that way. She seems very strategic. Okay, let's play the long game here. She does this when Cole takes over Vok's ship, well, Takuma's old ship. He brings back the dilithium processor, and Cole was already there. He sort of came back and apologized for how he acted when they meet up in the first 2 episodes. And, it was just a ploy for him to steal the ship because he wants the cloaking device. So, the Klingon ships, they don't have the cloaking devices yet. So this is the one ship that has it, and he wants it because they need it for the war effort. So he kind of plays Vok, because, Takuma's whole thing is, what's mine is yours, and what yours is mine sort of thing. So everyone shares their resources. Cole doesn't care about that. He just wants the ship. So he plays Vok, and, basically he wants to kill, he tells Lorel to kill Vok. So they get back from the Shenzhou, and and Cole's taken over, and the whole crew's gone with him because he's basically giving them food. He's like, yo, I'll give you food if you join me, and they all accept it because they haven't had food for weeks or something like that. And Lorel also joins them supposedly, and gives him the dilithium processor, and then Cole says, "Oh, go kill him. You can kill him now." And she's like, "No. I got a better idea. How about we just stick him on the Shenzhou?" Well, he says the grave of the grave of our enemies or something. And it's basically it's all her ploy to get Vok away from Cole, so Vok can survive and become what he needs to be to make Takuvma's vision a reality. And she's gonna this is basically where Vok's story starts, is where he's gonna get put with the matriarchs, and he's gonna learn these new things, and he sort of has to sacrifice everything that he is and stuff. So I think we're gonna see some cool sort of Klingon cultural stuff, like maybe mystic sort of thing. Like, I like it. I like that stuff a lot. And it's gonna be interesting to see how they what he becomes. Like, I'm quite interested in way Vok comes out of this. I just felt that the Klingon storyline here just was very slow. It was very slow, and it took away from what was happening on the Discovery. So they got to be careful with that. They got to balance it out in the right way. So hopefully the next episode's a little more streamlined and follows a nice story and it's a little more tidier. I think that's the big thing. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm liking where the character's going. I mean, Saru, I thought, played a really kind of an interesting role here. He saw that, Michael was on board for the first time, and, his, and his threat ganglias ganglia, whatever the damn word is, he's, she can see, he knows that she's a threat to the ship, and he's, very worried about her. But then she also uses him later on as a way of discovering if this spore beast is actually, it's like an experiment to see if the spore beast is actually a threat. Because if, he can, it's in his nature to detect threats to his life. So if his ganglia thing would have sensed it straight away if this spore beast had hostile intentions towards him. Because that's just the way his race works. And it's interesting. I actually quite like it. And you can see that Saru's, he's seeing that the captain is not the captain that he really would rather be with. He doesn't really trust the fact that what the captain does. And, he even says, when Michael tricks him into being part of this experiment, he's like, oh, yeah, you'll fit in with the captain perfectly. He knows, what his captain is. He's not he didn't tell him about that Michael was still on board. He didn't even tell him that they were running simulations, for God's sake. So he feels very out of the loop. I mean, we saw, Tilly still around. I think, again, she's kind of the ray of sunshine, the little bit of, the light and bubbly character to go, just sort of break up all these very dark and serious characters. So I think she's a necessity for this. She really is. So, it's funny to see her and Michael together. It's a funny combination there. And we also got to see the ship's doctor, which is, we haven't seen them yet. And, normally the medical officer plays a far more bigger role than what we've seen, with Discovery. So we've finally seen him. And we saw, how they were repairing, actual repairing happening. I don't remember seeing that before in a Star Trek thing. Maybe in the movies, but not in a TV series. And you actually see his nose morphing back to what it should be. So that was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to see some future medicine actually happening, not just a light going on with a stick. People going whoop, 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 whoop. It was cool. And yeah, I mean, it was a solid episode, just very messy. Very messy. I think if they can clean it up a little bit, and I don't know, just don't be so stupid with the whole war stuff. The whole, we have to get weapons by any means, even doing really stupid stuff that gets us killed. I think it's just, they need to be careful of that. And, Landry, I don't think she's that big of a loss. I didn't really like her character anyways, so, yeah, I'm happy that she's gone. So, but I'm looking forward to the next episode. So far, where do I think, is it a good series? It's different. I think I'll wait and see, until, at least halfway through this this thing to really know what is this going to work out as a good series or not. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's good yet, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.